So, next on the agenda is the presidential address, and as all of you know, this is Dr. Gotlieb's final address. So, I was asked 3 minutes ago to present him because Michael got emotional and had to run out. He said he had a flight to catch, but I suspect he's out there crying in the bathroom because really, they're like two partners in crime, these two. So he would have been the most fitting person to present Walter. He said a word at the board meeting. But so I guess I just want to say a personal thanks to Walter because I met him as a young R1 at the Jewish General, and now I'm working by his side and learning, and he's been a very inspirational leader, and I think that applies to all of us too, and GOC as a society. So with great pleasure, and on behalf of GOC, this is the trophy that we offer you as a souvenir. And you know, your role is changing, but you're still going to be obviously super involved with GOC for the next few years. But I think it's worth taking a moment to underline all your successes in this past 2 years as president. Thank you.
I see on my agenda here that I received from Helene that Saturday from 9:30 to 9:40, deliver your message. And to be bluntly honest, I knew I had to deliver this message for the last 2 years because that's just part of the job. And I have absolutely no excuse that I didn't prepare for it. So last night, after a great evening, and I'm sorry if I embarrassed some people. After a great, I went back to the room and I said, now what can I say? What can I share? And I just drafted like 2 or 3 ideas. And the fact that I hadn't had the time to prepare it just shows how overcommitted we all are and how we're trying to push everything and squeeze everything and just, you know, burn out fires all the time just to make sure that things go well. And that's probably the reason for that is the more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you can do. The more you can do, the more you do, the more you learn, and it's a vicious spiral that gets worse and worse. And as a fellow, I thought I worked like crazy and I would never work anymore like that in my life. But actually, it gets more and more with time for these reasons. So what to do at this point when you're completely overcommitted? Well, you could say it's just Jim's problem now. But that's not true. Because basically what lays behind us or what lays in front of us has really nothing to do with really what lays within us. And we just have to do what we have to do, and we're just who we are. And we just do what we do. And I think that when people ask me, who are not in medicine, and for sure not in GYN oncology, but how, you know, it must be overwhelming, the type of things you do. And it's actually not, because that's just the way we are, the way we live. This is who I am. I don't work. This is just my way of being, of passing through life. Concerning GOC and how that has integrated is I come from a country a little bit like Canada where you have 2 societies, which is the Flemish and the French, and I grew up with that notion, and the emblem of Belgium is l'union fait la force, which is since tender age the notion is that together we can go way further, and if we can get those 2 societies together with the same kind of stupid arguments as we have here in Canada, maybe a little bit worse than Canada, but together, l'union fait la force. And what you learn very early on, and if you're going to want to go quick, then just go alone. But if you want to go far, you need to go as a group, and you need to go as a team. And I think that GOC exemplifies that, and that's what we've been living. How do you balance all of that? So people, and for sure the new generation, is really about balanced life, something that, I haven't heard until I was like 30. What is balanced life? It's really not the balance between work and home, and between family and work, and balancing the time between them. I think a balanced life is to be happy at home and happy at work. That's balanced. Because if you're not happy at one of the two, you can't be happy at the other one. If you're not happy at home, you can't work well. And if you're unhappy at work, well, it's going to have repercussions at home. So being balanced is doing what is right for both and being happy in both. That's kind of where I feel. Another concept that I thought about is, I'm sure none of you is foreign to the idea that I'm very strongly involved with and emotional about robotics. And the reason for that, and that's maybe some kind of a virus that I share with Michael and with others in the room, and probably with most in the rooms, that I'm really drawn by the future rather than pushed by the past. If something is going to be coming up, I'd like to be part of that. I'd like to be part of what's going to be the future. I don't want to relive the past and just get it a little bit better. And as a society, I think that's where we're heading to. And that's part of being innovative, is being drawn by that future. So which has been a little bit of sometimes of problems, because we all function a little bit in silos. But even when you live in and you function in silos, between the silos, you see the sky. And the sky is basically our vision. And that we all have in common when we look even from our silos. And the other thing that we have in common is the ground on which we stand and the roots. And we all have the same roots and the same vision of the sky. And that's how we can work better together. And we came together, and that's, I think, a lot thanks to people like Danny and Michael, who has brought the society together. And that was a great beginning. And we've worked together, we've stayed together, and I think that was progress. And we're evolving, and we're working more and more together. And I think that's really success and progress. We've been talking about what GOC is really about. When you sell what you do, you're basically a vendor. When you say why you do it, then you become a brand. And I think that's the message forward that I'd like to bring, is we need to say why we do things, not say what we do. Because when we say why we do it, people will just join us and go for that vision that we have, and that vision for what we go. Being the president of GOC has really been at a point which is the culmination of practice, because I can see slowly, starting to think about retirement. So this has been really the perfect timing, and I'm extremely grateful for having had this opportunity, which I think was a fabulous 2 years, notwithstanding all the work and the phone calls and the emails. This has really been a fabulous summit of my career. But in order to attain knowledge, you need to add things in your life constantly. You attain more and more knowledge. But wisdom actually is to start removing things and staying with the fundamentals. And I think that having been president, I just reached that, and it's time for me to start removing things to get to the essence. And I thank everybody for having allowed me to do this, and I'm looking forward to the next steps and seeing the horizon and the end. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege. So now my last privilege as a president is to transfer the plaque to Jim. And I was just informed that, you know, the plaque is full. You're kind of the last one here. So what we have decided is just now is at the highest level that you'll need to be president for life. Jim, if you want to come over. Happy to transfer it to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hope you'll enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. President, it's for you.
Thank you very much. I think everybody in the audience, I can remember the days when I first came to GOC, and actually my first GOC meeting, when I actually paid membership, I think was here 20 years ago. And the camaraderie and the discussions, I always look forward to these meetings, and I enjoy meeting everybody. Initially once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, and then with Zoom every month or so, seeing people's faces. It is an incredible organization. I think we've come a very, very long way, and thanks to all the past presidents and the people on this plaque, and the job that Walter has done over the last 2 years is incredible. We've heard a lot today about where we've come from and where we hopefully we can continue to work together. It's almost like we are. So things are just moving so rapidly and changing within the organization. It's like it's on autopilot to a degree. And I hope you will continue to work with the organization and continue to expand the organization. I will help facilitate that through the next year, 2 years, and look forward to this. Thank you very much.